Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, welcome. It is March 23rd, 2021, and the time is 9:31 a.m. Welcome and thank you for attending the Colorado Dental Board's stakeholder meeting via webinar today. Before we get started, we would like to introduce the staff members from the Division of Professions and Occupations that are present. My name is Darcy Magnuson, and I am a regulatory analyst with the division. Also attending is Yukon Morford, Program Director, and Elena Kemp, Regulatory Coordinator. We will be facilitating this stakeholder meeting. In compliance with the Governor's orders regarding COVID-19, the division has transitioned to a platform that is 100% virtual, and we appreciate your flexibility. As many of you have been to DORA stakeholder meetings before, we would like to reiterate the importance of your comments today. DORA makes decisions every day that may affect your life and your business, so your input is vital in the rulemaking process. Throughout this process, our goal is to create regulations that clarify and explain legislation, ensure minimum competency to enter and continue to practice, and provide only what is absolutely necessary for consumer protection without creating unnecessary barriers to the marketplace. Your input will be part of the information that goes to the board as it considers adopting new and revised rules. More specifically, we will be discussing revisions to Rule 1.26, which expands access to silver diamine fluoride SDF training opportunities by including on-demand courses, and Rule 1.30 to correct language that conflicts with portions of the statute in Colorado Senate Bill 2102 concerning required disclosures to patients regarding formal actions based on sexual misconduct. This meeting is being recorded. It will be posted on the website by the end of the next business day. As this stakeholder meeting is held solely by webinar, please raise your hand using the hand icon if you would like to speak, and we will unmute your line so you'll be heard by everyone. Or you can type your comment in the question section and we will read it aloud. For anyone that is planning to provide, state your name and who you represent. Feel free to provide either general comments on the rule changes or specific comments on the proposed language. Keep your comments limited to 3 to 5 minutes or less, and try to keep redundancy to a minimum. If you are using audio through your computer, please remember to put any phones on vibrate or turn them off. And whether you are using computer or phone audio, try to keep background noise. So at this point in time, we will go ahead and open the floor to anyone who wants to provide comments regarding the proposed rule changes that you're seeing on the screen right now. So if you would like to provide comments, you can raise your hand and we can unmute your line, or you can type them into the question function and we can read them to the members of the public who are participating. Deborah Astroff?
Yes, I would like to speak to Rule 1.26, application of silver diamine fluoride by dental hygienists. And
okay.
My comment would be that I would like to see the rule, the wording aligned with the wording that is in Senate Bill 102 that has passed through the Senate and will be heard next week in the House. That would mean modifying number 2 so that it would read, successfully complete training that covers a minimum of 1 hour of live instruction, including but not limited to, and then list A through F as you have, which is currently in the rule, and then adding number 3. The course in subsection 2 may be completed through any of the following formats. A, live and interactive course presentations, semicolon, or B, on-demand webinars with an interactive question or completion quiz component to verify participation prior to certificate issuance. I think that it is better for our providers when they read through the statutes and then go to the rules to have alignment in the terminology.
Okay, thank you. Anything else on that? Okay, we will move on. I'm going to go ahead and lower your hand and place you back on mute. Jacob Holtzman, you're self-muted. Jacob Holtzman.
Yep, thank you. Good morning. My name's Jake Holtzman. I'm a 4th-year dental student at the University of Colorado School of Dental Medicine, and I'm a member of the Colorado Dental Association's Council on Government Relations. I'm here today on the CDA's behalf to speak in support of the change proposed to Rule 1.26 Part B, and have worked with the CDA to prepare a short statement of support. When the dental community advanced legislation in 2018 to give dental hygienists authority to apply silver diamine fluoride, or SDF, it was always the intent of stakeholders that the training requirements for this authority be simple and streamlined, and that it be accessible in an on-demand webinar training format. The intent to deliver trainings in a simple webinar format was discussed on several occasions during legislative hearings. However, when the Dental Board adopted rules regarding training for SDF, the training requirements seemed to use training requirements for the more involved interim therapeutic restorations, or ITR, procedure as a template. SDF closely mirrors other procedures that dental hygienists are already trained on and perform as part of their standard education and scope of practice. These include application of fluoride varnish. In the case of SDF, a 1-hour webinar training course is sufficient to provide the needed training to ensure that the SDF is delivered to patients in a safe and effective manner. The heightened current training requirements for SDF in requiring a live and interactive course format have resulted in training backlogs. This has likely reduced the number of dental hygienists who have been able to complete the training and provide this service within the dental clinics and communities. Allowing SDF training to be delivered in a webinar format is even more of a critical need during COVID, when access to live and interactive courses has no longer been possible. While live and interactive courses may have ceased during the pandemic, curious processes have not. Allowing a more readily accessible and low barrier format for training moving forward will create greater access to SDF services for Colorado patients and healthier communities. The CDA supports this rule change and will be submitting some markup suggestions that could help the rule be more clearly understood by providers. Thanks for giving me this time to share the CDA's support.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and place you back on mute. Alyssa, I always mispronounce your name, so I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Alyssa Aberly, and I am representing the Colorado Dental Hygienists Association. And I would just echo what Deb and the previous speaker both spoke to. We would love to support being able to offer this course as an on-demand course. I also have a couple of wording changes. I agree with Deb to try to align this with the bill that's currently going through the legislature. It might save us some time in a few months when we have to go through rulemaking regarding that bill if it passes, to try to make these sections align. I also think the fact that in this proposed rule we crossed out and interactive, so it just says live, interactive, is a little confusing because the board often refers to live and interactive courses versus on-demand courses. So I think we need to try to keep the terminology as consistent as possible to not confuse providers as well. So Deb and I will be submitting something on behalf of the CODHA to clarify some of our proposed wording, but we are in support of the idea of this rule change. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to place you back on mute and lower your hand. Are there any, I'm not showing any other folks with raised hands, and we haven't received any written comments. So we'll just pause to see if anyone else wants to provide any input. If anyone joined late, this is your opportunity to provide any comments or feedback regarding the proposed changes for the board. So this meeting is being recorded. It will be posted on the board's website, and it will also be provided to the board in advance of any rulemaking hearings. So this is your opportunity to provide that feedback to the board. And I continue to see no one with no one has a hand raised, so we will pause for another minute or so, and then we will move on. Okay, and the rule that's showing right now is a correction to a rule that was previously adopted by the board. There was a conflict between the statute 1230.115 and what was adopted in subsection E of the rule, and so these changes are being made to resolve that conflict. And the language that you see in subsection E of 1.30 and subsection F of 1.30, that language is directly from the statute. So. All right. I don't see anyone else who would like to provide any input, so we are going to go ahead and move on at this time. And Yukon and Elena will continue to monitor. Thank you for participating in today's meeting. The stakeholder comments and program recommendations will be presented to the board prior to the permanent rulemaking hearing, which is tentatively scheduled for May 6th, 2021. That concludes our stakeholder meeting today. Thank you for participating, and please remember, I know some of you indicated that you will be submitting written comments. You are always welcome to submit written comments to the email address that is noted on the notice for today's stakeholder meeting. It will be sent out again with the notice of the permanent rulemaking hearing. So we are going to disconnect the webinar now.